Denise Dryden. Good morning, Denise Dryden here. I had a false start there. I'm in this lovely farm in Whitefish. It's an Airbnb and it's got chickens and ducks. And of course the chickens go right at that time. We've got apples behind me, and later on today we're going to do some apple picking and maybe some cider pressing. And it's a fabulous way to say hello to the fall. So last week I wasn't with you because I've been moving all of my stuff. Hi Kelly, so glad you could join me. Moving all my stuff into storage, packing it like a truck, just like leaving it. And I'm going to take 6 months to go do something different. I'm going to take my work with me, but living and sort of that whole cultural thing of being right here, doing, Whitefish every day, my own house, la 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 la. I'm going to make a change. So today we're going to talk about sabbaticals and change, right? Because I think it's a really cool idea. I use the word sabbatical with intention because sabbatical is one of those terms. It's Greek for sabbatikos, which means, on the seventh day, on the seventh year, we rest. And they picked it up in the university and college arenas by saying that professors get stale, that they need time to go sort of cut loose from their curriculum and write a book so that they can publish, or travel and do research, or do all of those above. So within the university system in the United States, you can, every 7 years, be eligible for a 1 year off. And it could be 2 months up to a year, where you literally stop doing what you're paid to do. You're still paid, which is lovely, right? And the idea is to cut loose and create something new, get some new energy surging going through you. So it's a rest from work, it's a career break, it's an extended absence from a career in order to achieve something, like come back with something wonderful, come back with a book, come back with a new class that you want to teach, come back with something that you're excited about. And I love this idea. It's an invitation to create. So sabbaticals and change and creativity are all connected, right? So a personal sabbatical is what I would call an intention to do something. It's also permission. I give myself permission. And for me personally, I'll give you an example. For the next 6 months, to retreat to an island that I would love to live on, do my total, coaching in the hours that I usually do, but then have these carved out days where I get to write. I get to create. I get to do the things that I never make time for. And I'm doing it with intention. So it's to go learn something new, right? It's to integrate deep learning. Time to sort of say, if I'm seeing out that, how does that rest inside of me? How does that settle? And how do I bring that forward in a different form? And it's a set amount of time. It's not like I'm just going to check out and go away forever, right? I have an intention that for X amount of time, I'm going to allow myself to disconnect from all that is usual and provide something new to myself and to the world. So it's a set amount of time. That's the thing to remember. It's also creating change and some deeper skills. It's saying, I want something different than what I have right now, and I'm willing to let go of what's known, let go of everything that I know to be true right now, and go do something different. It's also a burst of energy, like I need a shot of adrenaline in my arm to get me out of this cyclical thinking that I'm doing, and I need to step into creativity. I need to step into the unknown, right? I need to go where I've never gone before. So this is really a process of letting go. So we have a set amount of time. We have letting go, right? And then we take this approach and we go right up to the edge. So what is it that I've always wanted to do? What is it that scares me? What is it that's the end of this chapter and the beginning of another one? And when we're standing on that edge, it's like all I can do is let go and see what wants to happen. And as Alan Seal has said in his edge work, it's that liminal space where you let go of something and you know that something new is going to take form, but you don't know what that is yet, right? Okay? So it's a curiosity. It's a yearning. It's a dream. Like, I want to do something really different for myself and for others. It's a place where you're willing to jump off and see what wants to happen. And so, we have for a set amount of time, right? We have letting go. And then we have this idea of jumping, which is go do something. And on many levels and in many forms, it could be a break from work. It could be a break from responsibilities. It could be a break from a relationship, which is, I love you and I'm going to step back for 6 months and go find out what makes me again. Doesn't mean I'm not coming back. It's a set amount of time, right? And this gives us an opportunity to bring something into form. So sometimes it's allowing, it's remembering, it's opening the door for something new, and it's a trust in the process of change, which is I can get stagnant. Any of us can. We can get into that wagon wheel rut of over and over and over again. This is what life looks like. This is what work looks like. This is what I've created, and I don't want just that anymore. I want to create something more. So for me, I'm setting the intention to change locations. I'm going to let go of my home and my house and all of that management piece, put it all in storage, and go to Bainbridge Island, where it's rainy and it's dark and it's winter, which is exactly what I knew all through college, because I went to Linfield College in McMinnville, Oregon, and it rained all the time. That was really good. I love being creative in the rain. And I'm going to take my work on the road, and I'm going to set up an intentional time to do the work that I want to do to create something new. So for you, this might be something different. It might be sort of maybe taking a year and saying, I'm letting go of all activities, all volunteer, all things that I do after school, after work that get in the way of me celebrating me. It could be reducing some hours and saying, for this next 6 months, I'm taking every Friday off and spending 3 days doing what I want to do separate from work, and negotiate this with your bosses. It could be doing a reversal in roles in your relationship, which is if you have one person who's always on the front end with the kids or always on the front end of managing the house, what happens when we switch that and we allow the other person to have that experience as well as ourselves to do something different, to do something that we haven't had the opportunity to do. Could be moving to a new location, renting a house and moving across town, moving up to the mountains, trying something that you always wondered if it would work. I use this a lot with people who want to change careers or they want to add something new to their life. So part of that is, this is the work I have. This is the salary. This is what sustains me. And this is what I want to do. So it doesn't make sense to just, drop all of this and go away. It does make sense to find out how to explore this without damaging this, which might be, I'm going to drop all activities and see what that looks like when I explore this. I'm going to start a little side business. And when it gets to the point where I need an extra day, I'm going to do 4 days here a week and 3 days here. And then I'm going to do 3 days a week and 4 days here until I know what it is I want to do, and I let go and step towards what matters to me. Now, sometimes sabbaticals lead to radical change, but most of the time they are just an impetus for this wonderful creativity to come in and take place. So what else could you do? Think about that. Ponder that. If I had the opportunity to set 2 months, 6 months, a year aside, what would I do with that? What would that look like? What would that feel like? What would I want to focus on? What would matter to me? And then you come out of this intentional space with something else that wants to emerge. And, to me, that's sort of that part about learning to live life effortlessly, right? Which is, how do I create something that matters to me without, so much drama? So what this really does is it gives us permission to change. And what I wanted to do was talk about this change cycle, which is sometimes when we make a choice, even if it's really simple. I'm going to put all my stuff in storage and for 6 months find out what kind of class and writer I really am, right? Then what happens is it may be a horrible choice and it may be the best choice I ever made, but it doesn't matter because I've then closed what used to exist and moved into creating something new. Right? And when we make a choice, we can, get our feet on the ground and look around and go, that choice sucked. That was not my best choice. And then you make another choice. Or you put your feet on the ground, you look around and you go, I finally understand what matters to me. It doesn't matter, because as soon as we make one choice, then that allows us to make another choice. And then that allows us to make another choice. And when we live in the energy of choices, we're actually living in creativity, which is, I've let go of what's known, what's stagnant, what keeps me stable, and I'm starting to co-create with the world around me what matters, right? So when you make a change, you step into choice. When you make choices, you're in creativity. I love this idea. So what happens is when we step into change and choice, we have personal ownership. We're not victims anymore, right? We're doing what we want to do, and we're doing it intentionally. It's releasing this sort of like, I manage life every day, and this is what I can expect, and there's little modicums of bursts of surprises in it, or I'm open for change. I'm open for creativity. And when we let go of that management and that cyclical thing, we are also letting go of the victim, which is, this is the world I created. Me, this is what I have to do for the rest of my life. Well, that's not true at all. And if we want to get out of that drama triangle and we want to step out of either, being the rescuer or being the all the different faces of the victim, what it takes is for us to say, I take ownership of where I'm going right now, and I get to make a choice to do something different. So change and choice, they matter. They matter a lot. And like I said, it's the emergence of creativity. And I think that this is what our world needs right now. Whether there's shootings, whether there's floods, whether there's hurricanes, whether there's earthquakes, whether there's gunfire. I mean, think about the horrible things going on in the world, and think about, how do I put an influx of creativity and light to counteract that? You can sink into it, or you can burst forward. And what I'm saying is burst forward. Allow yourself to go to creativity. Allow yourself to be flexible. Allow yourself to wonder. Allow yourself to be surprised at what's possible when kindness and compassion and love show up in yourself, in your family system, in your relationships. Because I think that those are all qualities that are part of that feminine, that divine feminine we keep talking about that's emerging, right? Receptivity, responsiveness, creativity, flexibility. So this is the kind of stuff I talk about. This is the kind of stuff we work on, and I have lots of tools to bring all of these forward and to play with. So if this is something you're interested in, ask me. Just because I'm going on a sabbatical to Bainbridge Island does not mean I'm not going to be doing these shows. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be coaching. And doesn't mean I'm not totally available. I'm just going to be available on a much better, deeper level for you. So call me. Let's talk. And you can find me on DeniseStridenCoaching.com. And it's October, so have a fabulous fall and get out and see these leaves. Go pick some apples and go play. You take care. Bye-bye.